Well, good evening. You are not loud. It is great to be with you tonight. My name is Thomas, and I got to tell you, I honestly think there's very few places I'd rather be on a Sunday night. I love the project. Honestly, I think, especially when it comes to your age, where you're at, the decisions you're making, who am I going to be, who am I going to marry, the potential that you have and the platform you have to actually make this incredible difference, not just in your life, but in the lives of people in your generation. I got to tell you right now, there is probably going to be like no other time than this time in your life to do something incredible and to experience God in these incredible ways in your life. This is why I love these years. I love it because, especially the project in February, you can kind of say whatever you want. Nothing is off the table. It's just, I love it. And maybe, like you just heard, I led the project for a number of years ago. And February was my favorite month of the year. Because I think there's just so many people who are like, man, can you just help me make sure I'm not screwing things up? Help me make sure that we're doing this right. And it's great. Every year I'm asked to come back. I don't know why, but they keep it. And this year, Ruben's like, hey, can you do 2 weeks? Because he's having a baby and he wants all of you to ask him if it's happened yet. He told me that over and over again. He's like, man, I just wish more people would ask me if I have a baby yet. And so if you have their cell number, text them, ask the question. They want to hear so much, right? He asked me for the next 2 weeks, and I guess it's probably because I'm the other ethnically ambiguous person. So they're like, you do it. You kind of look like Ruben. And so, you have me for 2 weeks, and hopefully that's a good thing for you. And here's what I want to do. I actually want to get right into it because I got loads of content I want to get through. Because I got to say, one of my favorite things to talk about is relationships, young adults, and God. How do we navigate this? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to talk really straight about stuff. I don't want to, circle around things. I want to get straight to the point with you because I think you deserve it. I think you need it. And I think some of you are bad at this, and I want to help you get good at this, all right? So I'm going to go there. But what I want to do is I want to lay a bit of groundwork for the next 2 weeks. There's a few things I want you to understand about my viewpoint. Now, if you're here and you don't follow Jesus, this is going to give you a bit of an insight into the world of what we think people really are looking for and desire, but really what the Bible teaches about relationships and where we need to go. And so the first thing I want you to understand is this, is that God has a call in your life. And like I said, I'm going right into it. So Romans, it's a book in the New Testament. This guy named Paul, he writes it, and it's a very what's called theological book, which means he kind of unpacks the idea of who Jesus is, who God is, how it impacts us. And in the chapter 12, verses 1 and 2, it says this: therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy. So right away, he's saying, listen, if you are someone who follows Jesus, the only reason why you can do anything is purely because of the mercy and grace of God. And because of the mercy and grace of God, you are meant to live in response to the graces given to you. This gift is yours, not for you to rummage around with, but to do something with it. It should define your life. And he says this: because of that, offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This basically means very simply, you are not your own. Your body is not your own. Your mind is not your own. The desires you have, those are no longer your own. In light of what God has done and set you free, you're not your own. This is true in proper worship. He says, don't conform to the patterns of this world, which means the things that you see that are normal, that are going on in culture, often lead to death. So don't conform to those things any longer. I'm calling you to something different. In fact, it moves on and says, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So change the way you think, change the way you view things, and you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is. It's good, pleasing, and perfect will. And one of the major questions I get from people all the time is, what is God's will for my life? And I got to tell you, you're not going to find it by conforming to the patterns of this world. You're only going to form it by letting God reformat how you think. So right off the bat, God has a call in your life. You can't escape it. And here's the thing. You are first responsible to God, you are second responsible to other people, and then last responsible to yourself. Now that's a little bit of a reverse from what maybe you understand culturally. Second thing is this: relationships will determine the trajectory of your life. There is nothing that is going to have a profounder effect on your life, the good, the bad, and the ugly, than the relationships you choose to have. The people that you allow draw closest into your life will have the most impact in your life than anything else. I heard one person say it this way: show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And they are absolutely correct. Here's the thing: if you were to read the Bible, even right from the beginning, Genesis, which literally means beginning, it's the first book of the Bible, chapter 1, it says that we were made in his image, in God's image. We were made in this like unity between God the Father, the Son, and Holy Spirit, this relationship. We were made from relationship. Then it says down another chapter, it's like, it's not good for man to be alone, so I will make someone else. So Adam and Eve, they were together. There was a sense of relationship that we were created for. And what's really interesting is at the end of the Bible, do you know the last relationship of the Bible? It's a marriage relationship. God the groom, the church the bride. The beginning and the end of the Bible is encapsulated in relationship. So all that to say, if you don't take relationships seriously, I gotta tell you, you're missing out on what God takes very seriously. So that's something to understand. Relationships will determine the trajectory of your life. That includes how you date. Hugely includes that. And then thirdly, dating is great, but don't be an idiot. And so, Ephesians chapter 5, 15 to 17 says this: be careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. So the Bible, when it talks about wise and foolish people, when it talks about wise people, it means this is someone who understands that the decisions they make in their life will affect not only their future, but it will affect other people's lives around their own. A foolish person is someone who makes decisions thinking all it does is affect them and no one else. Be wise. Be someone who understands the decisions that you make. Listen, the people that you choose to date, the people you choose to have a relationship with, those decisions will have effect on your future and effect on other people watching you. Only fools think that you make decisions in isolation. We're not meant to be living in isolation from our future, from other people, from God. He has a call on your life. He's got a will for you. What if I told you, and what if, here's something I believe. The way you date, and this may sound wild, but the way you date has the ability to either set you free or lock you down. The other people watching you have the ability to set them free or lead them further into destruction. The way you date matters. And if you do it like a fool, you know what the Bible says about fools? Walk with the wise, become wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm. What do you want? Where do you want to lead people to? Dating is great, but don't be dumb. And here's the thing, I take a long-term approach in dating. I'm not trying to get you a date tonight. I am not good at the whole pickup thing, right? I never have been. I'm not trying to just get you a date. I'm not trying to get someone to pet you. I'm not trying, none of that, all right? I'm trying to get you to have really great marriages. I'm trying to get you to understand and to receive the love that you're meant and intended for. I'm trying to get you to be loved well over the long term. Is that okay? What I want you to have is long-term, satisfying, fulfilling relationships. But here's the thing. Many times, those things are formed through conflict, recommitment after recommitment after recommitment, and building trust. It's through the ups and downs. Listen, it's through the non-sexy stuff. So what do you want? Do you want momentary pleasure? Do you want something that's going to last a lifetime? I want you to have something that 30 years down the road, you say, I'm so happy I did it that way. I want you to have something that other people watch you and go, I want that. Yeah, I know, because you were meant to know this kind of love. Wouldn't that be awesome? And I want you to do with as little regret as possible. The last thing I want you to know is this, is that you are meant to be loved and to be loved well. 1 John 4:8 says this: whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. If you were made in his image, you're made to know love. God is love. 1 Corinthians 13 says this: love is patient, love is kind. does not envy, doesn't boast, it's not proud, does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it's not easily angered, keeps no records of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. Listen, always protects, it always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. And you want to know the fruit of this love? This book called Galatians says, but the fruit of the Spirit, when this stuff is working, when God is working in your life, what happens is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such thing there is no law. Those who belong to Christ have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. I think that's the kind of love that we all want, isn't it? We want love that's patient. We want someone to treat us kindly. We want to love in a way that we're not envying, we're not boasting, it's not proud, it doesn't dishonor, but it honors someone. That's what we want. I cannot stress how seriously God takes relationships. And we need to take them seriously too. God has a call in your life. Relationships will determine the trajectory of your life. Dating is great, but don't be a dummy about it. And you're meant to be loved well and to love well. Here's the common story. Broken bodies, broken minds, broken hearts, broken promises, broken potential. But the call for us is this, that there's another way. That you can date in a way that literally can lead others to freedom and set you free as well. Is that okay if I go there tonight? It doesn't matter. I'm up here anyways, and you're not. So that's what I'm going to do. And you're asking me, what do you have to offer? Like, who are you? Well, I'm Thomas. I've been married to one woman. Her name is Catherine. It'll be 20 years this August. Yeah, we got 3 kids, which is awesome. Here's a picture of me. And yeah, that was taken last week. So you can pretty much tell I was a lady killer. And so I have a lot to offer, right? Like, I remember in first year of high school, someone thought I was a student, like a parent's student, a teacher's student, a teacher's child. Like I said, word's not good. And so some of, like, you know, they thought I was a teacher's kid. And I remember this girl. She was pretty cute. I never talked to her before, but I asked her, do you want to be my girlfriend? She's like, okay. We never talked to each other again. We are still dating. And legitimately, we never talked to each other. We looked at it, like, and then left. So I know what I'm doing. And the first date that me and my wife, Catherine, went on, we went to Kelsey's, and we had some wings. And I told her, don't worry, my mom's paying for it. So what do I got to offer? Not a lot. Mostly through all the mistakes I've made. And you're reading that, just do it. And I got to tell you, in the context of tonight, that's not a sign for you. And so we'll move beyond that. Here's the thing, dating, no matter what, dating has always been kind of a difficult thing. Because that's the question, right? Like, why is dating so hard? That's the question that's asked tonight, I guess, asking for a friend, right? But think about it. Like, your brains, I don't know if you know this, but physiologically aren't fully completed development, like prefrontal cortex, decision-making of your brain, isn't fully actually really wrapped up until about 24 to 26 years old. Did you know that? Okay. And so some of you have got excuses, right? Like, I don't know if I love you. I do, I don't, I do, I don't, right? Like, it's okay. You're like, it's okay, it's my brain. It's not fully developed, right? And so the state of life, all the decisions you're making, the pressures that are on you, right? Like, there's so many things happening. Who am I going to be? What if I don't like that career? What about school? I don't like school. My parents, there's so many things going. And then what we try to do with all of that is that we believe, for some wild reason, that we will find ourselves in this place where we're going to find the answers to our loneliness and our longings through pursuing what will be the longest, hardest, most resource-intensive kind of relationship that you're choosing to have in the midst of all of that pain. It's almost like, how can I make this as hard as possible on me? I have no idea who I am, what I'm going to do, but I'm going to find my life spouse, right? Like, it's probably the hardest thing to do. I mean, dating has always been difficult. There's always a risk to it. There's always this point where you don't really know what you're doing. And that's always been the case. When I was dating, now that you're dating now, but I will admit, though, there are some incredibly difficult things that you're facing that, I got to be honest, I didn't. And so over the years, working with young adults and others, I've just done as much research as I possibly can, talked to as many people as possibly can. I've written all the mistakes I've made and like wrote down the opposites because I really want to help you. I just want to help you date well. I not just date well, but I want to help you date in a way where it literally you can find healing and wholeness, but people watching you can find healing and wholeness. I think anything less, why am I up here? If God wants nothing less than that for you, I want nothing less for you. So that's where I want to go. But I get it. I mean, mental health is a real issue. Social media, technology, how it's affecting you. Increased sexualization, increased self-centeredness. There's safety concerns that I don't think were the same as they were for me. I mean, to be honest, it might as well just like arranged marriages, right? Like maybe easiest. In fact, tonight, the response is we're going to have you line up and we're just going to like, right? And whoever you're with, just make it work. But here's what I want to do. I want to talk through some of these things. And what I want to do is I want to give you some help. Can I help you a little bit? We're going to walk through some of these difficulties, but I'm going to do it in a way where I just want to give you some practical things to think about as you're wondering about, whether you're dating right now, wanting to date, have dated, or don't, ever see yourself dating ever, right? I want to help you anyways. And so one of the, I start with this because I don't think you're going to like it. Most people don't like when I say this, but then they always come back and thank me for it. So just trust me on this one. If you want to date well, can I encourage you, now just go with me, okay? Don't write me off right away. Date in groups. Date in community. You're like, oh no, that's weird. I don't want them to know where my hands are going. No, that's the point. That's why you need to be. Date in community. And I'll explain it to you. I told you, go with me. Don't write me off right away. Here's the thing. You have no idea who you really are. And you're trying to date someone who doesn't actually really know who they are either. Do you know the worst way to find out who someone is them telling you who they are? It's the worst, right? Because everyone's really great when they're trying to, romance you. Everyone is. Do you know who will actually tell you what they're like, their friends? The people who know them the best. Dating in community is the best way for someone else to find out about you and you to find out about someone else. It just is. Also, I just think safety. They say that dating in groups is one of the safest ways that women can actually date these days. That it constantly helps women not feel like they're getting their drink spike, that they know when they're going home, they know how they get there, they know that there is safety in groups, especially if there's someone they don't know really well. It is one of the safest ways for women to date, is in groups. And there is an increase of violence against women, and especially against young women. I just think this is such a great, safer way to do it. Also, it keeps you dating and not married. And I say it this way. Some of you have terrible pacing. It's like you meet, it's like, my goodness, I'm going to marry this person. It's like, how long have you known them? Like 30 seconds. It's like, yeah, that's a long time. Or you just get into it and it just moves so fast. Dating in groups actually helps pace it, because here's the thing. There, over and over again, I have met a lot of couples who are in relationships who shouldn't be in those relationships, but the reason why they're not getting out of it is because they think that they're kind of married. And you're not. And especially women will stay in bad relationships because they have this ability to empathize a lot more and more compassion. I'm not saying guys don't, but just women are. And so there's a lot of people in relationships that shouldn't be in relationships. And dating in community actually helps build accountability around whether you should be with this person or not. And also, to add to this is that when you are dating someone at first, you are literally blind. They say it's like your own cocaine. Here's what it says. Studies have shown that when romantic partners who are intensely in love are exposed to photographs of their beloved, the brain regions they become activated are the same regions that are activated in cocaine addicts when they are craving cocaine. Addictive love tends to be more singularly focused on attaining those highs, whatever the cost. Y'all are blind. That's natural. That's normal. It says that can last up to 28 months. Your relationship could suck and you don't even know it. And you know what's really funny is I bet you there's someone in your life that does know, and you need to hear that from them. See, When you're dating in community, you're less likely to enter those stages that help you balance off. But also in community, it's a lot more awkward when people are watching where your hands are at. And I get the question, why are Christians against premarital sex so much, for example? Why do you make such a big deal about it? It's kind of prudish, isn't it? It's like old-timey. Let me give you a bit of a background here. Scripture consistently, and if you're a Christian and you're a believer, there's just no getting around this, just so you know. Scripture consistently presents sexual intimacy as designed exclusively for the marriage bed. Premarital sex is viewed as a form of sexual morality or sin. There's just no way around it. We'll talk more about marriage next week, but I got to tell you, the Bible in general wisdom tells us that the marriage vows speak of being known inside and out within a promise of security. That sex is the ultimate giving of self, that it's a gift, not just a biological function. A sign of deep security and commitment, love, mutuality, and this maturing that happens. That you can safely give all of yourself and receive someone else in that covenant relationship of going, it's just us and no one else. Well, that sounds a lot like Bible, Thomas. Okay, let me hit you with this then. Well, first of all, the question is like, okay, well, how would you know you're compatible sexually? Well, for one, if you're not comparing to anything, sex is pretty great. Anyways, but I really want to be good. Well, he's probably going to last like 5 seconds anyway, so it doesn't matter. Here's the thing. If you're comparing, you've missed the point. You've missed the total point. Your life is a long one. I always say this, the minute you get married is the minute you realize how long your life actually is. Because you have life after you get married. And you begin to understand, yeah, sex is really important. It's part of intimacy, but man, it's not all about it. It's just not. In fact, it's why study after study shows that those who report the most sexual satisfaction are those who are part of long-term committed relationships. Marriages, specifically. And also, you're wrong to think that there's a better way. The most important takeaway is that premarital sex is a highly significant predictor of divorce in every model of research. This effect remains robust even with the inclusion of the full set of early life factors relating to beliefs or values, religious practice, family characteristics, individual attributes, and parent-child relationships. The effect size is both large and stable across all models. Those with premarital sexual partners have more than twice the odds of divorce as those without. Premarital sex raises the divorce rate both for men and women. Those with the highest number of premarital sexual partners, 9 or more, have about triple the odds of divorce compared to those with none. The effect of premarital sex on divorce becomes stronger, not weaker, as sexual partners accumulate. Sex has stronger adverse consequences for mental and emotional health for women than men. Furthermore, women are subjected to a sexual double standard in which they may face negative evaluations for sexual behavior, resulting in greater social consequences. Here's the thing, those are not studies done by Christians. These are studies done over the last 40 years, trying to find out why, over and over again, as decades go by, the research is showing that when people have one or more sexual partners before marriage, the rates of divorce double or triple as you go high or higher than those who have no sexual partners before marriage. And they don't really know they don't exactly know why, but the trend is constant, and it's the same thing over and over and over again. I'm telling you, these are not just Christian studies. This is what it says. The main takeaway is this: refraining from premarital sex is an incredibly powerful way to protect against divorce. And I think community is a huge part of this, because that's hard to do. Listen, your bodies don't know you're a Christian. Right? They don't. Community is a big part of this because it helps protect you in those places. It's the same people who value sex and intimacy. They value the same commitment. They want to keep environments from getting hot and bothered all the time, right? They want to keep you accountable. They want to create friendship and recreation that goes beyond just physical touch. Being in community helps you help one another to get the best that God has for you. Well, how about dating apps? That's okay, right? And I think they're a great tool. In fact, a lot of people that I officiate weddings for, so many of them use dating apps. But they're not a replacement for community, and here's why. It's because your brain has been technologically engineered to believe that you can control and curate your experiences, especially relationships, due to social media and dating apps, utilizing more and more tech for matching. Honestly, some of you are like literally walking around like swiping left or right in like real life because you think that's actually how life works now. Like dating apps are a good thing, but it's funny, now that they're saying that more and more are using AI, it's actually that much harder to understand what people are, what their bios actually are and who they actually look like now. Because they're using AI to use very specific words to catch people's attention and rewriting it, so if they've got bad grammar, AI will make them sound like a Rhodes Scholar, right? And then if they look like me with a Just Do It, then they look like Ruben so much better, right? Like they use AI to do those things. So it's really hard to know, what do I believe? What do I know? Also, they say with dating apps, over 50% of people on dating apps are already in relationships. And they use it for an ego boost. And 40% of them are actually already married. And there are some people who are on there who curate different profiles based on what they want to experience. I was talking to someone yesterday, like, yeah, I have a friend who literally, if they want to go golfing, she just puts more golfing interests in so that she goes golfing with a couple guys and tries it out, and then she tries something else. I mean, like, it's like free golf. It's expensive. But anyways, like I kind of get it. But it just makes it really hard to just trust and believe what you're seeing and hearing. And there's just some people who are just not great people on there. How do you know that? And apps, due to fear and lack of time, become the master and not the tool that we use. It's interesting. Despite better matching technology, over 75% of users reported feeling burnout from dating app fatigue and lack of real connection. And they're finding that we're losing the ability to handle one of the most important differentiators between humans and animals, and it's this: it's the ability to have curiosity. We know about each other's life on Instagram, on TikTok, on MySpace. We have all those things. Like, what's MySpace? I'm sorry, it's an old joke. We eliminate all risk. That's what we're trying to do, aren't we? We're trying to avoid anxiety, hardship, discomfort. Trying to avoid the need for resilience. Guys, like, you do know that you need all those things for a good, long-lasting relationship, right? I gotta ask, are you looking for a good time or are you looking for a long time? What's the call? Love is patient. Love is kind. You only know if you're loving well if there's other people involved, if there's community. What do you want? There's a list of practical questions that I think community help you answer. And they're going to go up on the screen here, and I'll get you maybe to just take a picture of it just because I don't have time to go through all of them. But I think they're really good questions to ask people if you're looking for someone. But I think community is one of the best ways to help answer these questions. Like, are they God-fearing kind of people? Do you love who they are? What do they value or live for? How do they treat those closest to them? On and on and on. Okay, second is this. I want you to practice getting naked. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm here, right? Let's do this. What I mean is vulnerability, intimacy. Shucks. I knew he got me. And I'd say especially among guys. See, here's the thing. Intimacy is this really, really wide plane. It's more than just how you feel. It's actually about building levels and deeper trust in a lot of different areas of the human experience. And that's what builds long-lasting, healthy relationships. Intimacy includes really great communication, honesty and disagreement, your spiritual intimacy, making room for the other person. It includes just play and having fun. It includes working through difficulty. And sexual intimacy can be the most shallow of these intimacies. But better sex comes from deepening intimacy over a longer period of time. This is why physical touch to like sex too early can actually skew your sense of closeness and intimacy because it's the easiest thing for you to do. Over and over again, couples who end up getting really touchy-feely right from the start, really quick, one of the reasons why they actually end up crashing the hardest is because they build this idea that they're really close with each other because look at all these things that we've done with each other, but you actually have not built any sort of good intimacy. There's zero trust. You don't need to tell your body how to have sex. Sex is easy. Intimacy is hard. And so it can be the lowest form of intimacy. Don't trust it. And I think what makes dating harder these days, like I said, is like social media, because it dominates our time and our attention. Interestingly enough, it says that it increases partner options, accelerates the pace of connection, and enables constant, often superficial communication. While it helps people meet, it frequently reduces relationship satisfaction, fuels insecurity through comparison, and causes conflicts due to jealousy, privacy breaches, and over-prioritizing virtual interaction over in-person time. 52% of 18 to 29-year-olds who are in romantic relationship report that partners often or sometimes distracted by their phone when they're trying to talk to them. Roughly half of social media users say that they have used these platforms to check up on someone they used to date or be in a relationship with, or have used social media to check up on a former partner while they're dating. 53%, that's not bad. No, think about it. 53% of social media users, that means that someone in this relationship of two people has been checking on old flames. That's great trust building right there, right? It's hard to date when you're thinking of the other one. Or learning for intimacy and connection, it's getting lower and lower and lower because of these things. Man, that makes it harder to know someone. It has huge effects on building intimacy, communication, connection, resilience, sharing attention and affection. It's proven negative effects on your self-worth and on your mental health. Some of you are not okay. You're not. And you think someone else is going to fix it for you. They're not. Some of you think if I just post on social media, it'd be okay. No, we're not your therapy session. Get a journal. Get a counselor. I tell every young adult, every year, at least once a year, if not twice a year, get a checkup from the neck up. You need it. Every single one of us. You all have got baggage. Listen, if you were raised by anything with a heartbeat, a goat, you all got baggage. In fact, probably if you were raised by a goat, a lot of baggage. But everybody here has baggage and trauma. You got to work through it. Don't drag it in. It's not about being perfect. It's about being honest with it. See, social media complicates things because we're comparison thirsty. We're always looking to see who other people have that we don't have. This constant affects how we view ourselves. It normalizes what's not real. This idea of fear of missing out, that there's something out there better. I gotta tell you, there will always be someone who looks better. Always. And you're like, what if I date them, if I miss out on something else? Let me turn it around. What if I said that your partner thinks the same thing about you? Do you feel good about that? It makes it so much harder. And don't worry, it gets even better. Because so many of us rely on texting and social media to communicate, they're saying that a common thread throughout many of these conflicts is how couples don't know how to communicate their needs and desires to their partner. This has led to a noticeable decrease in the ability to develop true intimacy with another person. That a lot of young adults are feeling that. How do I even do that? And what it's led to is like a decrease in sex. And you're like, well, that's good, isn't it? In some parts, yes, but let me just mention this. Studies found dramatic increases in rates of masturbation, double for men, triple for women. How is that helping you? How is that helping you be less horny? Why do I bring it up? Do I bring it up just to be gross? No, I don't. I bring it up because you need to know you're not getting less lonely. The more connected you're getting, you're not becoming less lonely. It's not working. It says by 2012, there's 18 studies that follow the same people over time as they went from being single to getting married that did not become happier than what they were when they were single, except sometimes for a brief honeymoon effect. It's moving us to this self-centric paradigm, which is anti-love. Love, it does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It doesn't dishonor others. It's not self-seeking. So what I want to encourage you to do is practice face-to-face vulnerability with trusted people. Not on your phone, face-to-face, real human conversation. Who are you honest with? Who are you allowing in your life to be honest with you? When was the last time a good friend called you out? When was the last time you made a mistake and you owned up to it? When is the last time that you allowed yourself to laugh at yourself? We will never create true connection, true intimacy without vulnerability. A real, deep, and fulfilling relationship is like an undressing of your mind, of your soul, of who you are, of your insecurities, your fears, your history. It can be scary, it can be intimidating, and it's awkward. But you gotta ask yourself, why am I not honest? Why am I trying to hide stuff? Why am I insecure? Guys, name it and nail it to the cross. Tell someone and work through it. Guys, you are terrible at building intimacy. You just are. You're worse at it. Your emotional IQ is way lower than women are, for the most part. I know it's a generalization, and people are like, I'm going to write you an email. Yeah, sure, Ruben@hopecity.ca. Practice vulnerability with someone you trust on a regular basis. Find that lightning round person. And if you're like, I don't have a friend, all my buddies are like, oh, you're dumb, right? And it's like, okay, well, maybe not them, but find someone else, right? And if you're dating, practice regular one-on-one, face-to-face conversations. Probably not after 10 p.m., alone, downstairs in a basement, lights off and no one around. Probably not best. Find a place. Texts and DMs, I gotta tell you, are convenience. They're not connection, okay? Guys, I've got so much. Are you still with me? Are you sure? Because it's gonna get a little bit meatier and uncomfortable. And then it'll be good, all right? Next, are you mastering your passions or are they mastering you? I want you to ask yourself this question: how much of your everyday is actually in your control? Your impulses, your emotions, your money, bitterness, anger. Are they yours? Or does someone else need to be the one that's pushing you to make these decisions? What about your money, gambling, all those things? And here's a big one: porn and uncontrolled lusts. Unfortunately, is a huge issue in a highly sexualized culture. And here's the thing, I mean, like, when I was growing up, there was porn when I was growing up. You know, like the sweet shoulders, right? Like, just awesome. They show a little bit of leg, and you're like, oh man, it's too much, right? But now I guess they got naked people there. And so phones have changed the game entirely. It's unbelievable. And I sometimes get the question, why are you guys like, so against porn? Well, can I let you know? It's because if you're a young adult beyond high school, do you know how much sex education there is for university-age students? 0. And so in place of sex ed, research is showing that people are going to porn to get their sex education. And what they see is an increase of violence, unrealistic expectations, increased pressure to allow someone to push boundaries. It changes someone's view on the opposite sex. It supercharges difficulty to not engage in sexual behavior or in risky behavior. Because the idea is that you get what you want, when you want it, how you want it, with now, I guess, whoever's face you want it to be. And according to statistics, a lot of you are into moms, which is super weird. It comes to a point of sexual dysfunction, where there's a lot of people getting married, and then they're realizing that their spouse, he can't perform anymore. And perform is such a weird word. It's almost like putting on a puppet show, right? Like, oh, little Billy, there's been a lot of private showings, so he's a little tired now, right? But the idea is that it's real. They're noticing young men as young as 22 years old having sexual dysfunction because of the amount of pornography that they're accessing. Because here's the thing that porn works through, and you're like, well, it's not that bad. Yeah, it is. So what happens with pornography is that there's this dopamine release, of course, but then it transfers into actual brain changes where it actually begins restructuring the reward center of your brain to the point where it actually moves to escalation. That you need ever-escalating experiences of pornography in order to make you feel like you're getting that dopamine hit again. There's communication dysfunction. There's deceit and shame. So they say around 11 to 13% of women report knowing that their partner accesses pornography, despite over 60% of men reporting that they watch it regularly. See, Pornhub says the most busy night of the week, is Sunday night. I've ruined some of your plans. It's hard to build intimacy when there's ongoing deceit and shame. It's hard to be yourself when you're in shame. It's hard to know what to do if this is a reality for you and reality for your partner. It's hard to build intimacy when there's ongoing deceit and shame. It's kind of awkward when you know that your partner has been watching someone else have sex anywhere from 10 minutes to 59 minutes a day, which is the average. There's unrealistic expectations, huge effect on both people's self-esteem. There's the comparisons that affects their view of what's normal about body parts, it's normal about frequency, how one talks to each other. Guys, porn is meant to exploit you. It is literally meant to give you something that's not real. That's the way they design it. It's not real. And here's the thing, the exploitation goes further. It says that porn stars are paid more and more for violent and risky acts due to the increasing demand for it. And because desensitization is a real thing, that's what they keep producing. Women are finding themselves with not being able to say no to partners' increasing desires to fulfill fantasies, many with sex acts that are dangerous, pushes comforts, and leads to further border pushing. And they're getting this from psychologists in therapy sessions. But it's ethical. Tell me you watch way too much porn, you need to justify it, without telling me you watch way too much porn that you need to justify it. There's no such thing as ethical porn. But what if we watch it as a couple? Weird. All research points to a large decrease in satisfaction, stability, and commitment. Some saying it can lead to a 200% higher rate of divorce when couples watch porn together. You are deciding that someone else's suffering is worth your fleeting pleasures. That's what porn is. That someone else's suffering is worth more than your own potential. Freedom from shame, from guilt. How do you think this is helping? I talk about it because you need to know that you can stop. And I know some of you wish you could. Some of you really care and even love your significant other, and you wish it wasn't a problem. I talk about it openly because you need to know there's at least one person, me, in this room that's willing to talk to you about it, because you can find freedom. There is a way out. There's a better way. Listen, I was at the Oilers game with my kids the other day. Someone gave us tickets, and I was sitting behind this gentleman. He had 2 kids. He's a little older than me, so like almost dead. And he was videotaping the rink girls. My son was right beside me. I looked at my son and go, see, that's what happens when you don't catch your lust right now. You become that dirty old man. He's got kids right beside him. How many of you want to be a dirty old man or a dirty woman? How many of you want to end up being like that? What do you want? Maybe God's call to right love can bring healing and freedom to you and to people who watch you. You don't have to be okay with it. And if maybe in a relationship right now you're dating someone and you know that they're watching porn and you're really uncomfortable with it, can I encourage you, shame is one of the worst things you can do to someone. The reason why some people don't come out of this stuff is because they feel really shameful. And here's what I'd say, though. It doesn't mean you need to be okay with it. If I were you, I'd encourage them to seek some help and some counseling and say, I'll pray for you as you go and do that. But I would say you probably need to put things on pause. Because it's highly dysfunctional. And that viewpoint affects almost every area of what's normal for a healthy, long-lasting, trusting relationship. And here's the thing, the brain is actually very capable of repair and reset when someone addresses it, when they decide to kill it, and when they decide to heal in community with people. There is a way out. Guys, I've known people, I just met someone a little bit ago, 30 years of watching porn free in a day. There's a way out. Love does not delight in evil. It rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts. Porn is anti-love. Master your passions. Master your passions. Proverbs 25:28 says, like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self-control. The Bible has this idea of cities as places of refuge and hope in deep community, that other nations will watch and go, that's where I can find safety. This proverb is saying someone without self-control is like a city that's not able to provide any help to anyone else. How many of you want to be a city where people find freedom because they watch your life? Don't go for anything less. I'm going to run through the rest here pretty quickly. Practice sacrifice. We're in a culture that teaches that the most important person to cater to is yourself. You do you. You get what's yours. You do what makes you happy. You demand everything you deserve. And I love what the Bible says. Love is patient, kind, doesn't envy, and on and on. We've read it over and over again. Do you know the object of this love is not you, it's someone else? Galatians, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Do you know the object of those are actually someone else? Philippians 2:37, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself. So I don't think the culture's pattern should be our pattern. The way to get this idea of who we are is not to look inside ourselves. We're shaped by the decisions we make, and those decisions often have to come to the expense of ourselves. Because statistically, we're not getting happier the more that we're getting. The call is to Christ. The call is to other people. And what happens is that when we do that, then we begin to discover who we are and who we aren't. And dating can be part of that process, but only if we date with the concept of our call to first be Christ followers. And second is to serve and benefit the other. If you're not willing to sacrifice your needs, your wants, your desires, your habits for the sake of honoring the other person, you may not be ready for what it takes to be part of something bigger than you. Start small. And it's not perfection. It's about striving in community, in your own life, to ask, when was the last time I needed to adjust to Christ or someone else at my own expense? Serve someone, do it wholeheartedly. Begin to pray and ask the Spirit to lead your life. Sacrifice your wants for what's best for you. Develop a soft heart before God and before others. People ask, what's one thing I really should look for in a spouse? Do they have a soft heart before God? Do they practice repentance? A major red flag is someone who has no experience with change or thinks they have literally nothing to learn. How annoying would they be? My gosh. It's about being confronted with how much of an arse we are before God and others. It's confession and repentance. It's spiritual practices. Those are spiritual practices for a reason. It's about building humility and community-mindedness. It's asking, how can my example keep me free and set other people free? Practice self-sacrifice. What if I'm single? I'm ready to mingle, but no one's getting the note. I just want to encourage you just very briefly. People are actually dating later and later, as well as getting married later and later now. They just are. Less people are dating today than they were even 15 years ago. It's normal, and it's a very common reality. And there's this pressure, I think it's like by 30, I should have my whole life together. I got to tell you, I'm 42, I still don't feel like I got my whole life together. And I know it doesn't help because the sense of loneliness you feel and this desire, I can't take that desire away. God's not going to take your desire to be with someone away. Own your feelings, process them in community. I love, we throw out scripture here, that God hears a cry of his people and he answers. It's build a healthy community. Watch how much you expose yourself to situations or even social media. If it puts you into compromising places or if it puts you into comparison places, to a place of depression or bitterness, be careful. Expose yourself to new circles if you need to meet new people. I know there's some risk to trying things out, but you do it with wisdom. I know it's hard, and I have a friend, he got married at 42 years old. His first marriage. And he's like, you know what, Thomas? I can have 40 years of marriage at this point in my life. I wish it was earlier, but I'm thankful that at some point God answered my prayer. Keep believing. Careful, just where you expose yourself to. Okay, I got to bring it home. I'm like 14 minutes over, and they're getting really mad at me. I'm going to ask Kat, what do you want later? What do you want to build towards? Who are you called to be? What love are you called to give and receive? Are you letting that shape the most powerful gift that you and I could ever experience? What if you could date in a way that was more than just about you? It was about God's call in your life and about those who are watching your life. What do you want? Tonight, we are going to actually take communion together. And I know here at Hope City, like my church, we do it once a month. Communion is this really great way for us to come to a place reminding ourselves that, again, it's in light of God's mercy that we live. And I don't think there's any better way for us and a better place for us, especially those of you who are like, man, this gave me either a lot to think about and I don't really know what to do, or maybe I'm finding myself in the wrong place, or I think I gotta make some adjustments, man. I gotta come before God with some stuff, or I gotta really wrestle. I don't think there's any better place to do that than when we come to the cross and recognize a God who loves you like we just read, that his love is kind, patient, that it's good. The love he has for you, it doesn't dishonor you. It's selfless. It's not easily angered. He keeps no record of wrong. He doesn't delight in evil for you, but he rejoices for you to know his truth. That his love will protect you. His love is a love that you can trust. It's a love that you can hope in. And it's a love that will persevere. God is love. And on the cross, we see that fully expressed. And so what I'd love for you to do, I know there's going to be some questions and answers afterwards, and you got to put up with me for like at least one more week. Well, just one more week. But I wonder if tonight, as we go into a place of communion, I'm going to encourage you to grab your emblems from the baskets they have. I'm going to encourage you to go back to your seat. And by yourself, I want you to just be vulnerable and transparent with God with where you're at in your relationships right now. But I also want you to ask God this. God, would you remind me and help me to see my relationships as a call you've placed in my life? And would you, Holy Spirit, help me to live in a way that honors you, to date in a way that honors you? And if you've got some work you got to do with your own sin, own stuff, do that work. But communion is also a place where we pin it to the cross and we walk knowing that we go in his mercy and his grace. So I'm going to encourage you to stand. And I know that there's people that have these baskets, and why don't you come and grab those emblems, have a seat, and I'll lead you through communion. You can do that now.